Hi, welcome to 7 Facts. Here you'll find the most awesome collection of facts about every single country on Earth. In this episode we'll be talking about the state of Western Australia. Check out this playlist to see the rest of the series. Before we begin, please click the subscribe button if you wanna see more videos like this one. I upload 3 times a week, every week. Welcome to Australia's biggest state, Western Australia. This state occupies the entire western third of the continent, covering some 2.5 million square kilometers. If it were to be a country in its own right, it would be in the world's top 10. It's also the world's second largest country subdivision, second only to Russia's Sakha Republic. But check this out. All this land is inhabited by only 2.6 million people, and 92% of these people live in the southwest corner, most of them in and around the state's capital city, Perth. The main reason for this is the climate. The central 2/3 of the state is a hot, arid desert, so it isn't the most welcoming place in the world, that's for sure. When thinking of Australia, things like political upheaval and secessionism are not exactly the first things that come to mind. But in Western Australia, secessionism has been a recurring feature in the political landscape. The idea of self-governance or secession has often been discussed, one of the main reasons being the fact that the federal government will generally favor the business and popular interests of the larger population centers. The Constitution of Australia, however, describes the Union as one indissoluble federal Commonwealth and makes no provision for states to secede from the Union. Still, in 1933, the local government held a referendum on secession, and 68% voted in favor. They then petitioned London to overturn the Act of Parliament which allowed the creation of Australia and grant them the independence the people had voted for. But the United Kingdom House of Commons refused to consider the matter, further declaring that it could not legally grant secession. The issue didn't go further then, but it didn't go away entirely either. To this day, this topic is still present in Western Australia. Perth is the capital and largest city of the state. This place is one of the most isolated capital cities in the world. The closest large city is Adelaide, which is 2,200 kilometers away. Perth is actually closer to Singapore and Jakarta than it is to the nation's capital, Canberra. But don't be alarmed too much, they're doing alright. It's still considered to be one of the most livable cities in the world and one of the richest, thanks to it being the headquarters of large mining operations located throughout the state. Madness, mutiny and murder. It might sound like the plot of an implausible Hollywood blockbuster, but the story of Batavia is frighteningly real. This is the story of Australia's bloodiest shipwreck. In October 1628, the Dutch East India Company's Batavia set sail from the Netherlands to Batavia on her maiden voyage, with a cargo that included vast amounts of jewels and coin. But when closing in on Australia, they struck a reef, just 40 kilometers off the coast, near the Houtman-Abrolhos Islands. Most survivors managed to swim to a nearby island, which is now known as Batavia's Graveyard. When the captain discovered that the islands were barren, he and 36 others left for Batavia, which is in modern-day Jakarta, in search for help. Once the commander departed, Geronimos Cornelis began to plot a mutiny. Cornelis and his motley crew of mutineers sent anyone who might oppose their plans to other islands in search for water. Beginning with the weak and injured, Cornelis and his men began their mass murder. With their bloodlust still not satisfied, the mutineers hunted down the men sent to other islands. In total, 125 men, women and children were massacred. Cornelis kept some women alive to be repeatedly raped and tortured. One man managed to escape and swim to the men sent to find water on Wallaby Island. With the alarm raised, word was sent to the commander when he returned from Batavia in a rescue ship. While still on the island, the mutineers were tried for their murders. After 10 days of torture, they confessed and were convicted. 7 men were hanged and 2 were sentenced to marooning on the Australian mainland, making them the first ever recorded European settlers, although it's unlikely they survived. And with that, one of the darkest chapters in Australia's maritime history came to a close. Perth's King Park is the largest city park in the world. And yes, at 400 hectares, it is larger than Central Park in New York. Here you can wander and take in spectacular views of the Swan River overlooking Elizabeth Quay and the city skyline. There are bush trails, manicured gardens, and Australia's largest display of wildflowers throughout the Botanic Gardens. It is the most popular visitor destination in Western Australia, being visited by over 5 million people each year. And why wouldn't it be? The many panoramas are excellent spots for that perfect selfie you're looking for. One of the greatest things Western Australia can awe you with are the Pinnacles. These limestone formations came from the seashells of long-dead marine creatures that were gradually broken down by the wind, leaving only these remnants behind. These pillars are complemented by blooming wildflowers between August and October and a surprisingly rich fauna, including kangaroos, cockatoos, emus, and pythons. Nobody knows for sure how the Pinnacles were formed, although several theories were proposed. More research is needed, which is understandable since the area only received attention in the 1960s. Western Australia is a harsh place, but it also has its fair share of natural resources and a booming mining industry. Located in the remote Kimberley region is Argyle Diamond Mine, the largest diamond producer in the world by volume and the only known significant source of pink and red diamonds. The Kimberley coast is also home to Australia's largest producer of pearls. 2 of the world's largest producers of gold are also in Western Australia. One of the largest open-cut mines is the Super Pit at Kalgoorlie Gold Mine, which is 3.5 kilometers long and 1.5 kilometers wide, and a massive 570 meters deep, actually making it visible from space. With so many resource-abundant regions, it's really no wonder that Perth is home to the highest per capita of self-made millionaires. These were 7 facts about Western Australia. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts downstairs in the comment section, and afterwards check me out on Facebook and Twitter. A good way to offer more support to this channel is through Patreon. The link is in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.